from losing their way in the deep woods to disappearing into the dark depths.
There was a remarkable rescue today in South Florida. A man crashed his small plane into the gator and bug-infested Everglades.
Sometimes the most ordinary paths lead to the most extraordinary stories.
Hey, don't let go, man. Don't let go, okay? Don't let go.
So get ready for tales of those who found themselves trapped in an unlucky time capsule.
I'm lost.
Only to be rescued by brave souls.
What did you think were the chances of your surviving?
Zero.
Zero?
For sure, yeah.
You thought you were gonna die?
Oh, 100%. I was sure I was gonna die.
Remarkable rescue of a missing diver in Florida.
In 2023, a 22-year-old diver found himself swept away by a strong underwater current off the coast of Key West, Florida.
Got to a point where we got separated and never seen each other again.
He was out there in the ocean for over 4 hours, feeling like a needle in a haystack. As the sun went down, he started losing hope, not knowing that his mom and his family were searching for him frantically. Just as it was getting dark, they finally spotted him. Dylan was holding on to a bamboo stick for dear life and was brought back to safety on the family's boat. It was a truly miraculous reunion against all odds.
Oh my God, Dylan.
Lost at sea.
A 25-year-old Florida man is recovering after an ordeal at sea.
When hope seems lost, miracles can happen. In 2023, off the coast of St. Augustine, a young man named Charlie was saved after being lost for nearly 40 hours at sea. Charlie had gone out fishing at 3 a.m. when a wave capsized his small boat, leaving him stranded 12 miles from shore without a cell phone or flares. Surrounded by sharks, he thought his chances of survival were zero.
What did you think were the chances of your surviving?
Zero. For sure, yeah.
You thought you were gonna die?
Oh, 100%. I was sure I was gonna die.
But the Coast Guard and local agencies scoured the ocean, searching for a coconut in the water. Then, out of nowhere, radar picked up a signal. They rushed to the place and rescued him. It was a miracle that turned despair into hope, proving that sometimes the impossible is just a try away.
He's alive. Charlie's been found. He's alive. And we went from dead to living in a split second.
80 strangers form chain. In 2022, in the shores of Panama City, Florida, a group of 80 beachgoers transformed into a human chain, racing to save a family caught in a dangerous riptide. A mother of 4 and her boys were struggling in the water, and when she dove in to help, she found herself trapped, along with her mother. With screams echoing over the waves, strangers joined hands and waded into the surf, reaching out for each other in a powerful show of teamwork. After what felt like an eternity, cheers erupted as everyone was safely pulled to shore. While the boys and their mom recovered, their grandmother faced serious health issues.
The whole family is forever thankful to all those strangers who formed a human chain that saved their lives.
Saved by bear?
The little boy who was lost in the woods says a bear kept him safe and warm.
In 2019, a 3-year-old boy went missing in the woods of North Carolina for 3 days. As search crews battled freezing rain and dense woods, hope was fading. But then, he was found tangled in a thorn bush, cold and wet, but alive. His family was overjoyed, but what stunned everyone was the boy's claim
that Casey said he hung out with a bear for 2 days.
He said that he was in the woods and I asked, who were you with? And he said, a bear.
He said a bear had kept him safe and warm. Wildlife experts were skeptical, but the boy's family fully believed his tale.
If he said he was with a bear, he was with a bear.
Could a black bear really have mistaken him for a cub? Whether it was a bear or simply a miracle, one thing's for sure: little boy's story will be remembered forever. Incredible pilot rescue.
There was a remarkable rescue today in South Florida. A man crashed his small plane into the gator and bug-infested Everglades.
When luck meets timing, miracles happen. Just look at this. In 2023, a pilot got stranded in the Everglades after his plane crashed during a night flight. He was stuck there since 4 a.m., surrounded by alligators and mosquitoes. But when the sun came up, hope arrived in the form of Miami-Dade fire rescue crews with helicopters. A rescuer came down from the helicopter and rescued the exhausted pilot. Luckily, the pilot only suffered minor injuries and was quickly taken to the hospital. After this incident, the authorities were investigating what caused this scary drop in the wild. Kayak rescue. On July 5th, a heart-stopping scene unfolded on the St. Louis River near Duluth. A man was out fishing when he heard a desperate scream. A 6-year-old boy was floating alone in the water, struggling against the current about 300 yards from shore. The man, who had just started recording his fishing adventure on his GoPro, quickly shifted gears and paddled over in his kayak. After what felt like forever, he got the boy safely back to shore and reunited him with his family.
Can you make it up? Hold on. Good job.
The kayaker believed the real hero was the boy who screamed for help when it mattered most, proving that sometimes a moment of courage can save a life. Skier saves snowboarder. In 2023, two friends, Francis and Ian, went for an adventure in the snow. Francis was behind his friend, preparing himself. Little did he know, he was about to become a hero. Just a few hundred yards away, his friend found himself in a terrifying situation, trapped face down in a tree, well after a snow collapse. With no way to call for help, he thought his time was up. But then, Francis grabbed onto his snowboard and gave him a glimmer of hope. Quickly dug into the snow, spotting his board beneath the surface. In just a minute and a half, he freed Ian and saved his life. And guess what? They're still out there praying for more epic powder days. Sailor rescued. In Jupiter, Florida, back in 2017, heart-stopping drone footage captured a dramatic scene as a boat capsized, leaving a sailor in red desperately struggling to stay afloat among the wreckage. Just when things looked grim, a young hero appeared on a surfboard. An 8th grader, Sam. He quickly gave the man his surfboard and guided him away from the jagged rocks, finally reaching shallow water where the sailor could walk ashore. After the rescue, Sam casually returned to surfing, not wanting to draw attention to his bravery. It wasn't until later that his father saw the video and realized the true magnitude of her son's courageous act.
When I saw the video and I realized, what he had done, I was just amazed.
Dramatic Niagara Falls rescue.
He was in such a precarious spot that we knew that every second counted.
A man, feeling hopeless after losing all his money to gambling, made his way to Niagara Falls, contemplating taking his life. Just as he was about to fall into the icy waters below, his foot got stuck a meter from the edge, wedged behind a rock. Desperate and scared, he cried for help. Passers-by quickly alerted the authorities, and rescue teams rushed to his side. They tried to save him using ropes, but it proved too dangerous. Realizing time was running out, they called for a helicopter. Just as they were about to hoist him to safety, he slipped, but miraculously grabbed onto a ledge.
I backed off, and as soon as I backed off, that's when he fell over.
The rescuers threw him a life ring, and with a last burst of strength, he was pulled to safety. Hero pilot. This was seriously nerve-wracking. In Kalimpong, West Bengal, a thrilling adventure took a tragic turn when a paraglider suddenly broke midair, leading to a heart-stopping fall. A 32-year-old Indian man was soaring through the skies with his pilot when their glider snapped. It was all captured on his selfie stick, when his joyful smile quickly transformed into a look of terror as they began to spiral downward. Thankfully, the pilot's quick thinking likely saved Gaurav's life. While he suffered minor injuries upon landing, this close call served as a reminder of the unpredictable nature of adventure sports and the importance of safety in the skies. 3 years old in cornfield.
911, what's your emergency?
My 3-year-old daughter went missing out of our front yard.
A loyal dog always sticks with you no matter what. If you have any doubts, then have this. In Coolin, Missouri, a mother's worst nightmare unfolded when her 3-year-old daughter, Remy, wandered into a massive cornfield with their loyal dog. One moment she was playing on the swing set, the next, both were gone. The mother called 911, and within hours, over 100 volunteers joined the search through the dense, 8-foot-high corn stalks.
We can't find her anywhere. I'm going to get a deputy out there right now, okay?
But they couldn't find her the day and the whole night. The next morning, after 12 agonizing hours, searchers found Remy fast asleep beside her loyal protector. The dog never left her side, proving once again that a dog's loyalty knows no bounds. Lost in woods. In a heart-pounding rescue caught on a New Jersey state trooper's body camera, a 4-year-old boy and his loyal black Labrador were found after wandering into the woods. The pair had been missing for over an hour, which sparked a frantic search. The boy's mother and a trooper heard his distant cries and rushed half a mile into the forest. There, they found the terrified child, clinging to his dog and sobbing over a missing shoe, but thankfully unharmed.
Thank God that he was found safe.
His loyal pup had stayed by his side the entire time, offering comfort and protection. Daring copter operation.
Hey, don't let go, man. Don't let go, okay? Don't let go.
A man from California set out for a hike, eager to explore the stunning views along the Battery Alexander Trail in the Golden Gate National Recreation Area. However, things took a scary turn when he lost his footing and found himself hanging on a cliff about 40 feet above the churning ocean below. In a panic, he called for help, and local hikers rushed to his aid. They quickly dialed 911. Rescue crews arrived on the scene, and a helicopter was deployed to reach him.
Hey! I got you, brother!
Thanks to the brave rescuers and quick thinking of those nearby, he was safely hoisted up and brought back to solid ground. Instant karma. The Coast Guard was in the middle of their training on the Columbia River when things got crazy. Suddenly, a distress signal went off from a boat, and they sprang into action. With huge waves tossing the boat around, the officers rushed to the rescue. Just as one of them reached the man, a massive wave flipped the boat, breaking it into pieces. Despite the chaos, they managed to grab the survivor, who was later taken to the hospital. But that's not where the story ends. Turns out, the man they rescued was the same guy who had stolen the boat and had just been caught leaving a giant fish on the porch. He was arrested for theft and other charges. It just doesn't get fishier than that. Inflatable Unicorn.
A 4-year-old girl has been rescued by a passing ferry in Greece after being swept out to sea on a blow-up unicorn.
Life can change in the blink of an eye, and for this family, it sure did. On August 24th, 2020, a family trip to Rio Patras, Greece took an unexpected turn. Their young daughter was happily floating on her inflatable unicorn when, without anyone noticing, she was swept out to sea. By the time her parents realized she was missing, the girl was already out of sight. Panicked, they alerted the port authorities, who quickly contacted the nearby ferry. As the ferry approached the area, there she was, still holding onto her unicorn, drifting far from shore. The captain and crew acted fast and safely pulled the little girl aboard. Clinging 2 years old? In 2017, an incredible scene in northeast Portland appeared when a 2-year-old boy went missing and sparked a massive search. One officer was helping with traffic control when a woman flagged him down. She and her search dog had found the missing toddler in a patch of blackberry bushes. Fearing the worst, the officer rushed over, but to his relief, the boy was alive, though cold and weak. He wrapped the child in his jacket and held him close to warm him up. After nearly 11 hours alone in the elements, the boy's rescue felt nothing short of a miracle. Thanks to the search team and the dog's keen sense of smell, they found the little boy and took him to the hospital. 49 days at sea.
An incredible rescue caught on camera. A teenager lost at sea for 49 days.
In 2018, a 19-year-old LD's survival story is nothing short of incredible. He spent 49 days lost at sea after a natural phenomenon snapped the ropes anchoring his fishing vessel off Indonesia's coast, leaving him to drift 1,200 miles toward Guam. With no food or water, Aldi had to get creative. He caught fish and filtered seawater through his t-shirt. Despite passing ships, no one saw his frantic signals. But after nearly 7 weeks, hope finally arrived when a large tanker spotted his distress signal. Aldi battled through rough waves, holding on for dear life until the crew rescued him. After that scary experience, it's no wonder Aldi had sworn off going back into the ocean. Hiker mom.
Learning new details tonight about a mother who was stranded in Utah's Zion National Park for nearly 2 weeks before she was finally rescued.
In 2020, Holly Cordier, a 38-year-old experienced hiker, went missing in Utah's Zion National Park after she didn't get on a shuttle on October 6th. Her daughter didn't give up hope, and after almost 2 weeks of intense searching with drones and K-9 units, a park visitor's tip led rescuers to Holly. She was found alive, which really shows the power of determination and hope. Holly had been visiting national parks after losing her job due to the pandemic, finding comfort in nature. Her family was incredibly grateful to the search teams.
She was very dehydrated, and they found out she had a concussion and she couldn't move.
Hero hiker. Sometimes the right person shows up just when they're needed most. A guy named Taylor Root was enjoying a scenic hike at Multnomah Falls when he heard desperate cries for help. He rushed toward the sound and found a young woman clinging to her mom, who had slipped off the narrow trail.
Help, thank you, sorry.
The situation was dire. With only one arm, the daughter struggled to hold on, while her mom urged her to let go, fearing she'd pull her daughter down.
Mom, it's gonna be okay.
But Taylor wasn't about to let that happen. He grabbed the mom's other foot and, with incredible strength and determination, pulled her back onto the trail.
Oh my God.
It took everything he had, but after a few intense moments, both were safe.
Mom, okay.
Yeah.
Come on, let's focus.
90 years save 19 months. Age is just a number when it comes to saving lives, and this incident is the ultimate proof for that. In southwest China's Santa County, a 19-month-old boy's playful bike ride turned into a near tragedy when he accidentally plunged into the river. Hearing his voice, a 90-year-old man showed courage and didn't think twice. He immediately dove into the water without hesitation. The elderly man reached the boy and managed to pull him to safety. His quick, brave action made all the difference that day, turning what could have been a heartbreaking incident into an incredible story of heroism. Sometimes, the strongest heroes are the ones who've lived long enough to know that life is precious. Miraculously found.
Selfie taken by a hiker of his legs who took the picture and then became lost. Well, it turns out that photo helped save his life.
In April 2021, a hiker named Renee Compian went missing in the rugged San Gabriel Mountains of the Los Angeles National Forest. He sent a frantic text to a friend saying he was lost and his phone was about to die.
I'm lost.
After a day of searching with no luck, the sheriff's department posted a call for help on Facebook. That's when a local, sitting at home on his computer, spotted Renee's photo. With a gut feeling and some local knowledge, he alerted the rescuers about a specific area where he thought Renee might be.
And he was right there, and it was within 3/4 of a mile of where I'd marked the GPS location.
Thanks to his insight, authorities quickly dispatched a helicopter to that location. They found Renee safe and sound, proving that sometimes a little tech-savvy intuition can save lives. Miraculous sight. In the snowy mountains of Switzerland's Liderz region, a young guy got caught in a scary avalanche while skiing. He got buried under heavy snow, with only his head and one arm free. He fought to survive, desperately waving for help. His family didn't give up and contacted the rescue services when he didn't come back on time. When the rescue chopper appeared, shining a light through the cold, the hiker's determined wave caught the attention of the paramedics. Against all odds, this brave soul survived the unthinkable, reminding us that even in the harshest conditions, there's always a chance for a miraculous escape. Along and afraid.
A Trump-era policy that still continues under President Biden resulted in the boy and his mother being deported to Mexico, only to be kidnapped once they got there.
In 2021, there was this really sad video that went viral. It showed a scared 10-year-old boy lost and crying in the desert. He got separated from a group of 184 migrants he was traveling with and ended up wandering alone for hours in the scorching sun. Luckily, an off-duty Border Patrol agent found him and asked him some questions in Spanish.
¿Vienes con tu mamá o tu papá?
Nadie. Yo venía en un grupo que venía de entrega con usted y al final me dejaron botado y venía aquí a pedir auxilio.
Turns out, the boy was from Nicaragua and had been separated from his parents, who were still back home. And that's not it. The boy's tough experience happened shortly after smugglers dropped 2 young sisters over a border wall, reminding us of the dangers these children face.
Yo venía con un grupo de personas y me dejaron botado y no sé dónde están.
Airlifted. In 2023, an elderly man found himself stranded in the fast-moving Ventura River after a heavy rainfall. The rushing waters had swept him off balance, and he was clinging to small branches, desperate to stay afloat. Locals spotted him struggling and immediately called the rescue team. The current was too strong for a traditional rescue, so the team quickly called for an airlift. Within minutes, a helicopter arrived, and with great precision, the crew managed to hoist the man to safety. Despite the terrifying ordeal, he was safely lifted out of the raging river, much to the relief of everyone watching from the shore. After 24 years.
Tears of joy.
After 24 long years of searching, a family in China was reunited with their son, who had been abducted at just 2 years old. In 1997, the boy was taken by an unknown woman and reportedly sold to another family in Henan province. Despite the odds, his father, Guo Zhentang, refused to give up. His persistence paid off when police located a man matching the boy's description. A DNA test confirmed the 26-year-old teacher was indeed their missing son. At last, the family was reunited, embracing each other at the police station and catching up on the 24 years of love they had missed. Heroics of delivery drivers.
These delivery dudes are driving through Southern California's historic downpour. They see a car has just hydroplaned and flipped down an embankment.
When instincts kick in, heroes rise without a second thought. And this was the ultimate proof of that. In the college town of Isla Vista, California, torrential rains turned streets into rivers. In this chaos, 2 delivery drivers were navigating the soaked roads when they saw a terrifying scene. A car had hydroplaned and flipped down the road. Without a moment's hesitation, one of the delivery drivers sprinted toward the wreckage. He tried to open the passenger door, but found it locked. Thinking fast, he pulled both the driver and passenger out through the window. Although visibly shaken, the 2 were alive, saved by his quick actions.
I was trying to open the passenger door and it was locked and they couldn't reach it, so I had to pull them out through the window.
All hail to PLB.
Stranded swimmers, many of them kids, who recorded their own rescue at sea. Their boat sinking, and ABC's Nick Watt on what they had saved them. It was the only way this helicopter came to get them.
Out in Hawaii, a bunch of swimmers, even some kids, got into a really scary situation when their 21-foot boat started to sink. The water was rough, with sharks, and the sun was beating down on them. They hopped into the kayaks they had on board and hoped someone would come to rescue them. Thankfully, 15-year-old Mark Reeves documented their ordeal on his GoPro. The real hero was a simple GPS tracking device they had brought along.
Takes the search out of search and rescue. If it goes off, it takes us right to their position.
When activated, it led the Coast Guard directly to their location. After 2 tense hours, the helicopter finally appeared, bringing relief and joy to the stranded group.
We're gonna live! It was like such a good sight to see. Like we were waiting for about 2 hours, and when we saw it, we were just so stoked.
Steep terrain rescue.
It's the moment a 7-year-old girl is rescued. She was missing for 12 hours after disappearing from a campsite.
A 7-year-old girl got lost while playing with her grandparents in a steep, rocky terrain near Lake Merwin campgrounds in Washington state, and it got dark while playing. When her family realized she was missing, volunteers and deputies searched all night. At dawn, they heard her cries and found her in thick bushes. They formed a human chain to reach her and wrapped her in a blanket and brought her to safety on a boat. Her family was really grateful and thanked everyone who helped in the search. Little girl showed a lot of bravery throughout the whole thing.
You cold? Yeah, I got a blanket here for you. Just set her right there on that and should be good to go. Got my hand? There you go.
Incredible survival story.
Now to an amazing story of survival. It involves this 4-month-old infant went missing when tornadoes stormed through the town of Clarksville, Tennessee.
In 2023, in Clarksville, Tennessee, a severe natural disaster hit the Whole Park mobile home community. In that terrifying moment, Sydney Moore, a mother, kept her cool as she shielded her 1-year-old son, Princeton.
I ran to the back bedroom, jumped on top of Princeton. By the time I jumped on Princeton, the walls collapsed. And then that's when the siren went off.
While her boyfriend hurried to rescue their 4-month-old Lord. Just as he reached for the baby, the roof blew off, and Lord's bassinet flew into the air. Miraculously, Lord landed in a tree with only a gash on his face. After a tough hike, they made it to safety, and little Lord went to the hospital with a concussion. Even though her boyfriend broke his collarbone, the family was just thankful to be alive.
I heard him crying, and he kept falling asleep, waking up, falling asleep, waking up.
Smashed windshield.
We want you to take a look at new video showing Good Samaritans rushing to save a driver who got stuck in a flooded drainage ditch yesterday.
When things don't go as planned, it might just be leading you to the right place. Just look at this. In May 2024, a natural disaster turned a quiet day into a dramatic rescue scene in Spring, Texas, when a driver found himself trapped in a heavy drainage ditch, struggling for breath as the water rose around him. And here the twist came. Another man who made a wrong turn stumbled upon the scene, and it was caught on video by his girlfriend. He quickly ran to his truck, grabbed a hammer, and smashed the submerged vehicle's windshield without thinking twice. After breaking another window, he pulled the driver to safety. Thanks to his quick actions and the support of other bystanders, the trapped driver returned home to his family.
We were in the right place at the right time.
Right time. If it happened again today, I'd know hands down, I'd jump in and do it, even if it was worse.
Rescuing farm animals.
They're often the forgotten victims of a flood, animals left behind as families scramble to get out. Tonight, the locals rescuing livestock in some of the areas worst hit.
In 2022, after some crazy natural events in New South Wales, a bunch of locals banded together to save some animals left behind. These friends waded through neck-deep water and worked their best to rescue horses and other farm animals. They barely got any sleep, but they kept at it, even when the water kept rising and the animals were struggling. Despite the tough conditions and the ongoing search for food, they were determined to help out. Their hard work paid off when they managed to save many animals and a little pony that had been freezing cold just hours before, but was now starting to warm up.
Last night he was in a pretty bad way. He was soaking wet, hypothermic, so now he seems to have warmed up a little bit and he's dried completely. So I think he's going to stay alive up here.
Missing 62 years old.
Now, Stuart B. is still on the boat that rescued him, according to the Coast Guard, continuing his weekend odyssey that left him stranded in the Atlantic Ocean.
In 2020, a Florida man found himself in a real-life survival story after his boat capsized about 90 miles off the coast. At 62 years old, Stuart was clinging to the hull of his 32-foot vessel, feeling utterly alone until a cargo ship spotted him. After a harrowing night of listening to water rush in and trying to fix his engine, he was finally rescued by the crew of the cargo ship.
That is the gentleman we've been looking for. Thank you.
I'm very happy for this.
Yes, so are we. Thank you so much.
Stuart tried to reach his personal locator beacon, but couldn't get to it in time. With sheer determination, he waved his shirt at the approaching ship, and luckily, he was spotted and saved by them.
The District 7 command duty officer said the chances of finding B alive were slim, but the fact that he stayed with his boat helped save his life.
Stroke of luck.
A chance encounter and a stroke of luck. That equation helped save a hiker who had been stranded in Rockland County.
In Rockland County, a 46-year-old hiker got stranded in Nyack Beach State Park. He went out for a hike and didn't come back home, so his wife called the authorities. As it got dark and the temperature dropped into the 30s, everyone started to worry about his safety, but luck was on his side. During her morning jog, a woman heard faint cries for help and immediately sprang into action.
It was about a quarter mile down, and I heard somebody screaming, like, help.
She stopped another runner, and together they called 911. Thanks to their quick thinking, rescue crews arrived and located Mandeep on a steep, slippery hillside, and was safely brought back to his family, highlighting how a simple jog turned into a heroic rescue.
Police say it's common for hikers to get injured on the trails, but not go missing overnight. This situation has a good outcome, as this man is with his family tonight.
10 days in mountains.
Amazing story new at 11. A Santa Cruz County man is back tonight after spending 10 days in the mountain. He went for a hike, but says he got lost.
A short hike can sometimes turn into a real-life survival story. That's exactly what happened to Lucas McLish. On June 10th, 2024, he set out for a quick 3-hour hike from Boulder Creek, but ended up lost in the Santa Cruz Mountains. Days passed, and he missed Father's Day dinner. By June 16th, Lucas was declared missing, triggering a massive search. Armed with only a flashlight and a multi-tool, Lucas survived for 10 days, drinking water from streams. Finally, on June 20th, searchers found him in a remote canyon at Big Basin State Park. Lucas and his family were beyond relieved and thankful for all the help.
I would just make sure that I drank at least a gallon of water every day. It was just really humbling and just, I don't know, it was an awesome experience.
Silent struggle.
Smoke from California wildfires hampered these for a hiker who'd been missing in the Sierra National Forest for 9 days.
In 2015, the 62-year-old hiker named Miyuki Harwood disappeared in the rugged Sierra National Forest after getting separated from her group. With a broken leg and almost no supplies, she crawled to a creek, drinking from it to survive. For 9 days, smoke from California's wildfires complicated search efforts, but Miyuki didn't give up. Early one morning, searchers finally heard her faint whistle. She was found alive and conscious and flown to a hospital 100 miles away. Her family's joy was overwhelming, and now Miyuki's only wish was for some much-needed rest.
She was conscious, she was talking. She's very, very grateful that she was found.
Air pocket. Where there's space, there's life. That was the reality for Semal, a chef trapped beneath a capsized fishing boat off Istanbul's coast. The boat was carrying 13 crew members when it flipped unexpectedly, leaving Semal stuck in a small air pocket near the engine room. While he anxiously waited for 4 long hours, others on board met their fates. Luckily, Turkish divers were able to save Semal, who was standing in the submerged vessel. They handed him a diving mask and safely guided him to the surface. Semal's relief was immense. Thankful for the rescue, he expressed deep sorrow, knowing he had narrowly escaped the same fate. Open discussion. In 2018, Southern California was hit by a devastating natural phenomenon that left the area in chaos. Amidst the destruction, a family reported their 14-year-old daughter missing. Desperate and worried, authorities began an intense search, combing through the wreckage for hours. Finally, firefighters in Montecito, California found her. The girl had been trapped under piles of debris caused by the physical event, which had ravaged the region against all odds. She was rescued, alive and safe.
As we came off this debris pile in the back, the partner and I were able to hear a little bit of a scream, so we got real quiet, digging down to her, got the help of a lot of tools, and we were able to free her out, and she's on the way into the hospital right now with seemingly...
It was a moment of relief and a reminder that even in the darkest times, miracles can happen when hope and determination come together. Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.